Hello and welcome to the Frag channel. Today we're going to do something a bit different from what we typically do. We're just going to talk about, or maybe debate a little bit about manga versus anime versus video game adaptions. So in the community, I noticed that there's a lot of people who are, very, very fervently defensive of the fact that the source material is always the best. So in a lot of cases, people might defend the manga over the anime, but I feel like that's not always the the correct opinion to have, if you can have a correct opinion. But we're just going to debate about that today. So, nonetheless, joining me today is Ruben. Say hi.
Hey guys.
Okay. And yeah, I guess to start, we can find out, where do you stand on everything, Ruben?
Anime is greater than manga, and video games maybe in between manga and anime.
Okay. I guess for the sake of kind of stimulating the conversation, I'll be the manga elitist who's defending the manga fervently and saying that the manga is always the best, and these anime adaptations don't know what they're doing, and neither does game adaptations either. Okay, so give me your best case. Okay, why do you think? Why is it true, or why do you believe that the anime is better than the manga, or why is it that you believe that the video game is better than the manga, or the anime, etc.
Well, simply because I don't read that much manga, but also that's kind of the reason because video games and anime are more visually stimulating to lazier people and who want more immersion kind of.
So you think it's a good thing just because of the extra visual stimulation you get?
Yeah, and you don't have to like turn pages. You don't have to really read stuff, especially if you don't mind watching in English or playing in English.
All right, but you get the same kind of stimulation from manga. I mean, you're reading some nice looking art and you're flipping pages, and it's just, how's it any different to that?
You don't have to do much thinking. Reading requires a lot more focus than just watching and immersing.
Well, whenever you hear a conversation, you need to think a little bit too, right? About what they're talking about, the contents that they're bringing up in the conversation, what they're alluding to.
You can kind of if you know there's going to be a boring scene with nothing visually appealing, you can go and clean your house while listening to the story. You can't really do that with manga.
Well, I'm not really
You
good
can
at multitasking either way, so I need to usually focus on something, or otherwise I won't be able to focus on it that well, unless it's like just a really opinionated conversation. Then I might be able to follow while doing something else.
yeah, but I can in some cases. But when I know that I've missed something important visually, then I'll have to rewind.
Okay, so far
But
your
but
argument.
I can clean my house up doing some cooking whilst continuing to watch an anime.
Okay,
It's a convenience, immersion, and immersion.
so the convenience and the immersion you get from it visually is what you're saying.
Yeah.
But manga is a visual medium too, so how's the immersion any different?
Well, simply because manga is it doesn't move. It's just there.
So you're
You know,
saying that there's more to look, there's more artistic value to look at, is what you're saying. Whereas
artistic
anime,
value maybe not the greatest word because there's some really good art out there. But, it's kind of like a leaning word into trying to like put manga on top.
okay.
You get a picture of of a house in a manga, and then you see that same house in the anime, but suddenly you see like the beach behind it and the waves moving and the animals in the ocean. jumping up and down or something. It's something that
You're
it's
saying
more
that it's more animated. There's things that are moving. There's a fluidity in what's happening in the world and what you're watching.
good. Yeah, it gives you a greater feel of what's happening in the world.
Okay. All right. Uh, okay. I'll give you another. I'll give you one of my points. Whenever there's an adaptation of a manga, they never do it well. They always decide that, or well, the director of the anime decides that he wants to change something, or that he doesn't get the pacing right. So something which you'd imagine would be a slow pace where you kind of get the emotions and the feels for the character actually goes by really fast and it just ruins it. Whereas you wouldn't have that problem if you were just reading the manga as it was, because the adaptation itself was just really bad. And it's often the case that the adaptation is really bad. What do you have to say about that?
Um, I haven't read enough manga to know these things, but I know maybe we could use Full Metal Alchemist, the original, as an example. The like the original half of it was true to the manga, but then since the manga hadn't finished, they kind of just did the rest themselves.
Yeah.
So in some cases, it's intentionally not true to the manga. The people who created the original Full Metal Alchemist they clearly say that this is a fan made version of the anime, and the creators do plan on intend on making the actual version.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so 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 kind of like when it's not true to the manga, kind of
But
sometimes you get more.
but does it make it better because they made it different? Um, I like to think that a lot of people actually hated the first the first anime adaptation of Full Metal Alchemist over the second one, which the second one followed the story of the manga more accurately.
Yeah, but I mean, compared to the second one, Brotherhood, the first one was just it was shit. Like, but not being said, it wasn't bad. It was really good, but it's just the second one was so good that it makes everything else look crap. All of
Okay.
those opinions out by the first before the second one came out.
All right. All right.
But I think people like it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Like if people want to see their characters, they want to see them animated.
Okay.
They kind of like regardless of what how the quality they get what they want.
Okay. Okay. I think we've talked enough about the manga and the animes now. Let's mention the video game adaptations. So oftentimes, you can have video games that are made into anime, or even manga that's turned into an anime, which is turned into a game. But what do you think about video game adaptations in general from their source material, or adaptations from video games into anime?
Well, as our hardcore fans of the channel know, I'm a big Dragon Ball fan.
Yes.
Big shout out to those fans. Um, um, so there's actually a video game called Dragon Ball Heroes that was only released in Japan, and this game was kind of like it was just a fan service game. Like you get like Super Saiyan 4 Goku fusing with Super Saiyan 4 God Broly or something, and everyone who didn't live in Japan was super jealous of this game because they couldn't play it, even though the gameplay didn't look too interesting. It's kind of just so you can see those awesome moments. They actually made after Dragon Ball Super ended, they made an anime, a fan service anime called Dragon Ball Heroes, which is kind of the same thing, which is complete fan service, no real story, just complete action. So I don't know.
So what?
Again, like
So what do you
video
think?
games,
Would you get a better experience if you played the video game adaptation of the practically the original source material, which is the manga? Would you get a better experience doing that? What do you think?
it really depends. For something that's pure fan service, I think that again, the anime for using that Dragon Ball Heroes as an example, the anime would entertain me more. But that's more like subjective to my opinion on the gameplay of that certain game.
Okay.
So another Dragon Ball Xenoverse that a lot of that was more entertaining than some of the anime and the manga, which I actually have read the manga for both and watched the anime.
So Xenoverse is one of the games, right?
Yeah, it's highly immersive. You get to explore like different stories and of well-known characters.
And you'd say it's better than the anime.
No, some parts.
Only some parts. So then overall, which one is better? For
Overall, anime of course,
okay.
but there are some parts that feel superior, and you get a little bit extra. You get like it's obviously not canon, but you see like the characters saying lines that you've always wanted them to say, or reacting in ways you want them to say. Like there's no in the anime in canon anime you'll never see Beerus or Super Saiyan 4 Goku in the same place.
Yeah. So
And Beerus is like when he sees Super Saiyan 4 Goku in Xenoverse, he's like, oh, I love that form.
so here's the thing that I think is so whenever a game is adapted from a manga or an anime, I think oftentimes it's not good, even though it has every advantage and every potential to be good, because when you're following the anime, the characters oftentimes do really crazy shit, right? This is the case in a lot of like shonen anime and a lot of fantasy battle shonen and stuff like that, where the characters do really insane things, but you can't just give your player the ability to just do insane things in a game because it wouldn't be very challenging, and oftentimes there's a balance in games. So from like
So it's like a cinematic or
from a
something.
gameplay perspective, if you're trying to enjoy it for just that the battles and the action aspect of the anime that you like, you might not enjoy it as much as like watching the insane stuff happen from reading the manga or watching the anime.
Oh, okay. In terms of in emotional
But
investment, we'll call it.
but there's every opportunity there for the video game to do a better job because you have sound, you've got the animation, you've got the interactivity as well from the player. So you have extra levels that stimulate the senses, and all these working together in the right way can definitely make a better experience than any anime or manga could. But that's not really the case a lot of the time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because it's like you already know the story. That's why you like kind of the story or the forms that people are going to gain or the feats that they can do after reading an anime or manga and watching an anime and reading a manga and then playing a game. But in terms like we'll call it emotional investment, seeing these feats like because it makes you feel good. Seeing like Edward finally getting Al back. You know, or Goku going Ultra Instinct. But in terms of emotional investment, I'd say manga is greater than video games.
Emotional
Uh,
investment.
well, like you get really emotionally invested when you see these big feats that happen in manga and anime.
Let me give you an example. Let's say that someone reads a manga and there's a really touching scene that happens in the manga, and then he also reads the anime, and there's that. Oh, I guess we're talking about video games now, but yeah. So there's a video game that's also adapted from that manga, and in the video game you've got this really endearing sad music playing in the background while this character is going through this sad scene, and you've got the rain coming down and the all this like fluid animation and tears coming down his face. And don't you think you can experience that more from an emotional level better in a video game adaptation than you could just watching a still image in a manga?
I mean, technically you probably could, right? But like,
Well, of course you could,
this is
because there's more there to work off of
yeah,
rather than
yeah,
just a
yeah.
picture.
But since video games have to keep in mind like what's going to be entertaining, most anime adaptations just end up being mindless fighters
That's
with
true.
not a whole lot of story. You know what I mean? Like if they made like a Telltale story with like beautiful cinematics and whatnot, That would probably be like greater than anime and manga, but it would be a boring game, so it won't sell.
Yeah. And okay, so now let's look at video games. Video games adapted into like anime. All right.
Oh, I guess I already spoke about that a little bit.
In my experience, what did you? Because you were talking about Dragon Ball, right?
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Heroes anime it's kind of like in between Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Super 2. That's adapted from the video game Dragon Ball Heroes.
So they made an original video game which got its own anime adaptation.
Yeah, it's just the idea is fan service, complete fan service, with like all the wackiest ideas in Dragon Ball. That's the video
But
game,
it's
and now
still
that's the
based off
anime.
of the Dragon Ball universe, right?
Yeah.
Mm. So I'm talking about something that's completely the source came from a video
So kind of
game,
kind of
and
like Resident Evil.
it's been adapted into an anime. Does Resident Evil have an anime?
Yeah, well, like Resident Evil was a video game first, and then the movies were based off the video games.
Yeah, I guess that's another way you can look at it. Like also like
Uh,
no, no, yeah. Like video games adapted into like movies and stuff. Yeah, but specifically in terms of anime,
I wouldn't know
um,
any.
I'd know one. So one example I'll give is Danganronpa. You probably don't know it,
Oh,
but
that's the one you recommended me. Yeah,
yeah, but
is that
Danganronpa,
cartoon one?
yeah, it's it's like a murder mystery game. So when you so it's originally a game, that's the source, but they've also decided to turn it into an anime, and some people like the anime, but I also feel sad for the people that got into the series just by watching the anime because you miss out on that so much interactivity and just so much more that's there in the games versus the anime. Like it strips so much out. There's all these things that you just wouldn't experience if you watch the anime than if you played the game. And I think that yeah, I think in a lot of cases when something's adapted from a game into an anime, the this entirely across the board, just the quality just drops. And I've yet to see something that's a game that's been adapted into an anime that's just really, really good, and that blows apart like what the original could do.
Yeah, that's fair. It's kind of like to leave the lot of anime for a second again, like the South Park games. How each at least the first game I'm aware of it has an item that is a throwback to each episode of South Park that preceded the game. If
Yeah,
you're a super fan, but you have to be a super fan to kind of like pick up the differences. And on top of that, it has more because the game has its own story. That being said, it's kind of reverse order and not relevant. But I don't know Danganronpa, and I don't know any other video game adaptations.
yeah. So basically, I guess the kind
But
of
the theory is you can kind of fit more in a game.
yes, but don't you think so you say that, but it's funny when we actually look at the dynamics. So or at least what I experience myself. So let's kind of conclude everything here. When so I believe when a manga is adapted into an anime, it's kind of 50-50 if the anime goes above and beyond and makes a better experience, even though it has extra tools there to be able to make it just so much more grander. You got sound, animation, but like the directors don't seem to do it right like half of the time. And then you can adapt a anime or a manga into a video game, and oftentimes those also don't make a quite a unique enough and grand experience that surpasses what you might experience with the original source material. But in the case of a game that's being adapted, a game originally that was adapted into an anime or a manga, but I don't know many of those. Um, it oftentimes, yeah, the game is superior than the actual anime adaptation.
You reckon it's because people are blind to like the true purpose of the game? There's not enough like source material for them.
What do you mean by
It's
that?
most games, there wouldn't be more than 20 hours gameplay these days. It's not like Final Fantasy back in the day where you could play for 80 hours. If you only got 20 hours of source material to create an entire show off, then historically speaking, people need source material. Take Game of Thrones, for example. The last season kind of got ahead
Yeah,
of the
but
source material.
the games come in different forms, right? So like, so the Dragon Ball games, they're all like predominantly fighter games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not just in it to like see like story cutscenes, but there's a lot of actual action that prolongs the gameplay in it.
Yeah. And also in recent times, they actually extend the world greatly and introduce you to like so many new characters. In more modern games, old games you kind of just do the old like I'm going to become a Super Saiyan, then I'm going to beat Majin Buu.
So okay, so you don't have much experience between like adaptions, but what do you, in your opinion, what do you think? Is the manga adapted into the anime typically better or worse for you?
But again, not much experience, and like I've only ever read the Dragon Ball mangas, and they actually have a different pathway to the end goal. They've got the same end goal, but they've got different pathways that significantly change
And
the event.
I'm assuming you're also going to say the same thing if I asked you about the video games adapted into an anime. You're going to say
Well,
that you can't
I've got
say.
no, yeah, but coming to think about it, it's kind of hard to say which has more potential to have more in it, like a video game or a video game adapted anime, because you can fit so much in a 20-minute show. But then again, a video game can also fit a lot in it. It's it's kind of hard which could fit more in it and also be entertaining at the same time.
Yeah. So true, but
And also stay true to the original.
it's not that impossible though, right? And you don't like
Idealistically, if you get the choice of what studio does it, you got priority on the schedule. You got the top animators, top art, like whatever top team. You got the season One Punch Man team.
yeah, but most of the time people are willing to let things like the quality of the art not matter as much as long as the actual direction and the storytelling is okay, like it's good. So
Yeah, but like that's part included in the team. Like the person who writes the script, the person who adapts it.
yeah, but at the end of the day, there's a director that's overseeing everything. You know, he basically has a say on what the key frames that are going to come out are, and how well he's pretty much gonna conclude what the end storyboard is going to be for it as well.
Yeah. So if you had the best director in all of animating, in all of anime, sorry, then potentially anime just has, I think, the greatest potential. But
Okay.
we don't always have this idealistic. Like we're not going to talk about the last season of Seven Deadly Sins in their studio. It does trigger me.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't really like that one.
I didn't think it like take that as an example. I don't think it was that they had like that hard to stay true to the characters. But look what happens when they get passed along a few studios. They completely fuck up like the whole brand of the Seven Deadly Sins.
Have you
You know what I mean?
read the source material for Seven Deadly Sins?
No, because it has too many spoilers in it, and I'm too captivated.
Okay,
I
well,
want to see it animated. I,
yeah.
I know a couple. I know a couple of things.
So a lot of people say that oh, it's really shit compared to what the manga was, but I've never read the manga myself. I can't really say exactly if they butchered it or not, but yeah, a lot of people didn't really like it. So
Yeah, but the way it was shot, it was just like so fast. The jokes didn't really hit like they did in the previous seasons, and the crew are, they're a quirky bunch and they're quite hilarious.
yeah,
You
but
know what I mean?
it was also a different time in the anime. Wasn't that time where didn't Meliodas die the season before? Like wait,
Yeah, but he came back like at the last episode or the two episodes before the last episode.
Yeah, but so isn't it more understandable to think that there wouldn't be many jokes running around in the story by that stage because there was a lot of like it was a lot more serious by that point with the stuff that was happening.
Yeah, but like even take Escanor, like there was like most of his lines were pure flex, but there was one line that like it was so off brand for Escanor. I can't remember it directly right now, but I remember like I think it was his first scene. It just didn't seem like something Escanor would say.
Yeah, but do you think that they would adapt Escanor saying something that wasn't in the original source material?
I'm not sure.
I don't think
All
they
I know
would.
from purely
Like
watching the anime is
usually
that
they
he's
don't make characters say. Sometimes they do for like small scenes maybe, but
yeah, Escanor in buff form. He's meant to be the epitome of flex. You know, it's
yeah,
meant to be like overpowered done right. You know, when he doesn't say the perfect flex line, he's kind of just like overpowered and it's like not done right.
that's true. All right.
He's almost just a pure overpower.
Anyway, we're kind of getting off topic anyway. But I've concluded what I think. You know, basically, I think most video game adaptations into like anime is pretty shit. Manga adaptations into anime is like 50-50. So, and I've yet to see anything that's like anime that's adapted into manga. That's not really a thing, or anime that's adapted into a video game, like a source anime. So that's basically what I think. Ruben's taken the stance that he doesn't really have much experience to say either way. So
Well, with manga, like the Dragon Ball Super, the parts that were different in the manga, I really did enjoy. Like it was super good to read. I don't want to spoil anything, but you know,
I do think that there is like one thing though that seems to stand out when I've read an original manga and I've seen the anime. A lot of times the director seems to change things unnecessarily, but I don't understand why they change things unnecessarily. So the manga got really popular, and these directors that are looking to make a new anime decide that they want to adapt this manga because it's so popular and it's doing so well. And then when the director's adapting the source material, he decides to change things. I don't get it. Why change things? Can't you just like stay true to what's being shown in the original source material? But they don't. And most of the times that they do it, people fucking hate it. And like just follow the source material.
I think with my one example that except for like Vegeta going red then blue to preserve energy because red requires less energy. Super Saiyan red. You know, most of the stuff that was left out wouldn't really translate well to on screen. It's kind of better in book. I reckon its purpose was better left in the manga. So like even though you get keeping in mind you get the same end result, but the slight different pathways like who defeats who, at least in Dragon Ball.
So they change who defeats who.
Like it's mainly in the Tournament of Power arc. Like there's like 70 contestants. So in the manga they played around, or in the anime I guess they played around with it. You know, I mean people have probably read it by
Do
now.
you think it's better
So
because they played around with it, or worse?
it's better because people have probably read it by now. It's been years. So Gohan ends up defeating Kefla, which is you know in the manga, which is it's kind of ridiculous to think of because he only just gained his mystic form back, and Kefla's she's Broly. She's meant to be the anime equivalent of Broly, even though Broly's coming in next season.
Wow,
And
no spoiler warnings there, Ruben.
there's a movie, bro. There's a movie called Broly. Come on.
Yeah, but weren't you talking about things from the manga that were adapted into the anime, which
Oh yeah, but now I've decided it's been like 2 years, man. Like if people haven't read it now, then
I mean, you say that, but like, what if there's a kid that's growing up and he wants to start getting into manga or anime, and he happens to watch our channel, even though no one watches our channel, but he happens to watch our
uh,
channel, and
put on a giant
he
warning
hears you
that says,
spoil this thing that Dragon Ball, which he's been watching up till now. He's like, damn it,
"Oh
no
no, this is
spoiler
the manga."
warnings.
Alright, so put up a giant warning for spoilers for our 10-year-old
You're gonna
fan. I
make
love
me
you,
do
man.
the work now. Wow, you didn't even flag it in the video. Okay. Well, I mean, whatever. It is what it is. I don't really like that
Yeah,
saying, but we can say that for now.
but yeah, it wouldn't make sense for that to translate into the anime very well. And
Okay.
and Master Roshi kind of invented Ultra Instinct on Earth. But he's kind of been like underwhelming for the entirety of Dragon Ball. So, I mean, he had his good moment in the anime. So I think that kind of made up for him not 1v1ing Jiren, which is ridiculous.
I mean, isn't Master Roshi supposed to like get? Isn't he getting some relevance like lately in the anime or something or the manga?
Yeah, but going toe to toe for a few blows with Jiren is just ridiculous for him. Jiren to just breathe on him and he'll die. Jiren's meant to be stronger than all the gods of destruction.
Shit. Well, yeah. I mean, maybe you can have your own little
It was great. It was
Dragon
great in the
Ball.
manga. Really, really
Maybe
great in the manga.
maybe you can have your own little Dragon Ball corner where you can talk about all the latest stuff happening in Dragon Ball for the channel. What do you think about that?
There's a few channels out there that's already doing that. I wouldn't. It'd just be stealing from them because they got like sources and
You're stealing from them
no.
when you're
If I did
talking
that,
about when you're talking about Dragon Ball, which they never even created.
if no, what I meant is they got like scouts and they got people who even translate stuff for them so that they get the information first.
Oh, so you're not willing to put in the work? Is that what you're trying to say? The Dragon Ball fans, that's it. They're unsubscribing. They're gone. They're not coming anymore.
we can put a little Dragon Ball segment in.
I mean,
There's not much going on
we'll
at the moment, but
we'll probably get enough Dragon Ball stuff every episode that you're in because you love talking about Dragon Ball. Anyway, I think
as everyone
that's
should,
hmm?
as everyone should.
As everyone should. I mean, I wanted to, but then I ended up stopping.
We have Dragon Ball to thank for all this Western anime now.
For Western anime.
Like
Really?
anime coming to the West, being popular in places other than Japan.
Are you
All thanks
sure
to
that it was just Dragon Ball that did that? I mean, Dragon Ball was probably one of the most notable ones, like way, way back.
some people like to dub
Yeah,
Goku
I
going
guess
Super
I
Saiyan.
guess you can attribute it to like kind of like paving the road or starting that. For,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
yeah, but I don't know how many Eastern anime you see coming over to the West these days. Like mainstream at least. Like how many? Like if you turn on like I don't use the TV, but if you turn on the TV, I wouldn't imagine you'd be able to find very many channels which show anime.
You still
Still,
get Dragon Ball and you still get Pokemon and Digimon just like you did 18 years ago.
but just as we did 18 years ago. So it's not like
Oh,
we've got
like
more.
I think you get a few others, but I wouldn't know the name.
I mean, I remember seeing Naruto sometimes on Cartoon
Oh yeah,
Network,
Naruto. You get Bleach.
but they're not gonna go. They're not gonna adapt anything else. It seems, or they're
I
not
don't
gonna
know. I'd have to
show
order it.
anything else.
Yeah, well, the streaming services.
Yeah, we got the streaming services though, which I guess is good enough. Anyway, we've been ranting a lot for this video, so I think we got our points across. If anyone else has any other opinions to add to what we've said, or you want to tell us something, feel free to do so in the comments. But yeah, that's basically what I think about it. Ruben's undecided. But anyway, we'll be coming back to you guys with other videos of various assortments. If anyone is a Higurashi fan, I mean, you can be excited for something coming up about that. Anyway, I guess that's all for this video, and we can see you guys in the next one. Later.